Hello, trading is closed on January the 18th, 2024. We'll do our disclaimer, go over our calls, and make some predictions. It's my trading plan for Friday, which is January 19th, 2024. Remember, I can be wrong. Trade at your own risk. I have a lot of personal business this month. We'll have less time than usual to do my analysis. Had mixed signals yesterday. Said the commonest thing was a gap and a prompt move outside the day's range. That's what we got. We said that I was looking for lower prices, but I would admit that if we gapped up smartly, that was killed before the open. So we gapped up smartly, killed the call before the open, and there wasn't a call. Here's what we said. Got the gap, prompt move outside the range. Gapped up smartly, so before we opened, my idea was killed. Had an ultimate sell signal in the morning. That's already played out. We got a small blip here, which system said was false. Now it doesn't trust this whole move. Says it'll retrace to 4744.78. Most likely by tomorrow's close. That's way down here. That looks like quite a ways off, and this is a pretty strong move. Kind of hate to stand in front of it overnight. But if you don't get up smartly, that's what the system says. Now, this looks like a pretty strong move up, but there is an overlap. And if this is an impulse, that makes this pretty tough to count. Now we had identified this as one possible count ending in wave 1. If you look at the black letters, we now have an A and a B and a C, and all these subwaves work. So this could be, if this is the end of 1, this certainly could be the end of 2, and we could be in a third wave up. But there's nothing preventing this from being just A of 2. If we're in the third wave up, we're going to have a strong rally higher, and this should be a 5-wave structure. If it's just A of 2, if this counts even the right count, we're going to be in a 3-wave structure and then correct. And right now we can't say if it's a 3 or a 5-wave structure. That overlap concerns me. It's hard to count this as a 5. In fact, I can count this as A, this is B, and there's your C equal to A right there. So if by some chance we stop right here, we're still in wave 2. Of course, we won't know that until tomorrow. But it's tough to count this as a 5-wave pattern, and it's kind of tough for me to count this at all. The best I could come up with was an ending diagonal triangle, A, B, C, D, E. I think that's kind of a forced count. I'm not certain I believe it, but if it's true, we are going to retrace all this and come down through here and here. If it is true, if this is an ABC, I like us to stop right here and start down immediately. If that happens, I can explain it. I'm not totally convinced that's going to happen because of the strength of this move and because VIX gave a buy signal. So if we keep going up here and this turns into a 5-wave pattern, which you can count clearly, this whole consolidation could be over. I can really justify either interpretation at this point, and I'm hoping it'll be resolved early. I don't like to risk money when it's kind of iffy like this. Well, tomorrow's pattern has the early high. It doesn't tell us where we open. Typically, it's a rally day with a high in the final law, but if we fail, it's a straight line drop. There's a lower MEJT target. If we don't cap up smartly, the rules call for it to print. Just remember, this was a pretty good rally. These things will print at some time, but if it just keeps going up, I wouldn't force it, particularly if we gap up. We gapped over resistance today. That was resistance from yesterday that I thought would hold, but it didn't. And if the railings maintain at the open tomorrow, that MEJT target could fail. But if we drop right from the open, it puts it squarely in play. Volatility index gave a buy signal, and there's a wave count suggesting we could be in a third wave higher. And if we are, then ideally, not necessarily, but ideally, we should move up right from the open to take care of this squiggle here and find some way to explain it. Accordingly, I look for a strong move at the open with significant follow-through likely. And if we don't get a strong move, I just don't have a clear interpretation of the pattern. I can really justify a move either way here. If we drop right from the open, that's an ABC. And we're going to take this out and probably this, and probably go significantly down. If we keep going up here, and we get a five-wave structure, I think the most likely interpretation is we're in the wave 3. So let's see how we open before risking any money. It's a pattern with the early high. It's usually a rally day. Just remember, if it isn't, it's a straight line drop, and that's today's call.